Hello again, it's Garson, and we got the Hexblade working. I had to list started off that way. But yeah, some questions here. Why am I not leveled up all the way to level 12? Who is this bald man and these weird characters back there? Does Hexblade finally work, Garson? Did you get it working? Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's have some fun. There's some things we'll address, but let me show you the power of Hexblade. There we go. Now, of course, I forgot the Harmonic Dueler, but that's fine. I'll show you that in a little bit. There we go. What's this all about? What's that glowing aura? Interesting. Alright. Oh, Armor of Hexes. Can't hit me. Alright. And then he gets a critical hit. Alright, come here, Aronson. Don't attack them. And that's what you get. Boom! Alright, let's get into it. So, of course, as a Warlock, we can go ahead and use the new Boomer Blade. Whoa-bam! Oh, what's this? Somebody can get turned into an Accursed Spectre. We have the new Banishing Smite, so we'll go ahead and smite this guy. Whoa-bam! And he's gone. Alright. Well, he'll come back in a couple turns. It's just, how you guys doing? You liking Warlocks? Yeah? Good? What about you, buddy? New friends? Okay. And he's back! Hell no. Alright. Now, let's go ahead, and of course we are Warlocks, so we can just Eldritch Blast. Da-da-da! And we can make our own, make a bunch of friends with this new subclass. Look at these guys. So we're going to get into it finally, but let me address some things. Let me, of course, roll back the game, get back some test dummies, and of course, a big thank you to you guys. So I'm going to bust out the notes. We're back into the swing of things, but real quick, we're talking about the Hexblade. It's going to be another subclass breakdown for the new patch. Before this is released, figure give you the heads up. So, thanks, big shout out to ASCII Art Archive, as always, some cool art there. And a big thank you to you guys, and I'm sorry. So why am I sorry? Well, I have a pinched nerve, and we'll keep it that simple. It effectively means, for those who've never encountered a pinched nerve, I have one arm. So that sucks, but we'll leave it at that. A lot of support from you guys watching. I appreciate you. So I really mean it when I say thank you so much, and we'll just leave it at that. If you want to support the channel, the best support is honestly just enjoying the video, getting a kick out of this preview, and if you want to support it further, well, just save it to the end of the video. How about that? So let me show you, thanks to you guys, I have access to patch 8. Thanks to you guys, I was able to answer some issues with the Hexblade, and I love Warlocks. I love this. This is the subclass I was most excited for. So let's finally get into it. Follow along on the right hand side. These are the breakdown sections I have for you. We'll go over some questions. I'll explain what the issue was with the Hexblade tests, and then what Warlocks are real briefly, so you can understand what you're getting out of this subclass a little more thoroughly, and a little Wiz-lock trick I like to show people, because it really enhances, especially a melee Warlock, alright? So, and then we'll have some fun build ideas, Tim. Alright, so, patch 8 questions. This is still under development, so keep that in mind. At the top left, I always try to make sure you are aware this is the stress test, so things are subject to change, and I appreciate you guys for helping me out with the input. And I still have aggregated your questions. I'm still answering, don't worry. I hate that I'm kind of going at half capacity right now, but I'll stop being a whiny baby about it. But I am answering your questions unrelated to Hexblade 2. So if Swarmkeeper, Oath Paladin, anything we've been covering, if you've got questions, I'll try and answer for them, because it's thanks to you guys I have the stress test access, okay? So I'll try and pay it forward for you. Now, Hexblade and the Pact test, if you haven't been keeping up lately, I finally found out what was going on. So this is actually an honor mode bug, even though the game literally just got updated during this beta stress test for the patch. I'm helping feedback test this. I finally have access to the forums. I've been dropping what I found to be a big issue, and funny enough, on the forums, and thanks to you guys in the comments, through both of them I figured out what I was running into an issue, and I hope the devs can fix this so we can get the patch out. So what's going on is Tactician or lower, there's no issues. But if you've ever played on honor mode, and it's what I really encourage people to play, I think it's the best rule set. This is the standard rule set with anything that's not honor mode. Now if you play a custom game or honor rules, there's actually a big difference in the way the rules are handled. I'll slide back the notes real quick. We won't go into all the details here, but just so you know, this will play into the video. So in the honor rule set on the right, you can see there's some changes that aren't just difficulty changes. They can affect how your character can perform. For instance, today's video, we'll talk about extra attack on warlocks. So normally when you attack once with an action, you get a second attack. And that really is amazing because you can have as many attack actions as you take, you'll have a follow-up action or extra attack afterwards, and that's really powerful. In honor mode, that's significantly decreased. Once per turn you get that feature, so that can really dramatically change the power of your character, let alone some of the other unique changes in the honor rule set. So all that being said, that was the issue. It seems that there still is a major bug in the game. That's what was going on. So thank you guys for helping me figure that out. And thank you to the ones who responded on the Larian forums. I hope they get that fixed. So there is an actual bug as far as I'm testing in honor mode, but this won't affect anybody who's testing on tactician, and that's where the confusion was coming from. Now, Pact of the Blade, to get the extra attack, I don't know if I fully understand this. I do have, as you can see, the extra attack feature is working. Earlier you saw with the Deepened Pact, but you have to take Pact of the Blade at level 3, and I could be wrong about this. Thanks to you guys, you know, I've tested in and out and whatnot. I still think I might be doing something wrong, but I agree with viewers if this is the case that you have to take the Pact of the Blade at level 3 to get the extra attack. Well, it's going to be relevant to this Hexblade subclass. I would prefer, and some of the comments in the videos, previous videos said you guys would prefer that this is just a standard feature. You don't need to get Pact of the Blade. That way you can have something unique like Pact of the Tome or Pact of the Chain. If you've ever played a Warlock, you can now do that and not have to worry about the hassle or maybe multi-classing to get your extra attack, right? So I kind of agree with you guys. You convinced me on that, and I hope the devs take that feedback. But I tested it, and I may have it wrong, but I don't know. I think you really do have to take, as far as every time that's worked for me here with a new fresh save file, getting things set up, even without mods. Finally, Pact of the Blade works, but you need, or I should say Deepened Pact works, gives me the extra attack on my weapon attack, but you do need Pact of the Blade, okay? So seriously, thanks again for helping me figure this out, because I really want to talk about Warlocks. They're my favorite class in the game, and I actually did a few videos on them talking about Blade Warlocks even before Hexblade has come out. So if you want to check out even more Warlock stuff, you could already, right now, before the patch, play a very powerful Blade Warlock, pure level 12, and I love playing that. So Hexblade is only going to make it more fun, because Warlocks, as we do a quick little brief overview of them, right? Warlocks are martial fighters. No, wait, that's not right. They're not. No, they're not. They're full casters. No, they're... Well, Warlocks are really unique, okay? They can actually be full fighters, and they can be full casters in a way. So let's start with Charisma, though. Charisma is kind of your everything stat. So what it is this a 1 STD? No. No, it's a 1 stat dependency, okay? It's 1 stat dependency, okay? Not a 1 STD. So jokes aside, though, catch your attention there. But they're dependent on 1 stat overall because of the uniqueness of Pact of the Blade. They can have their weapons attack, do damage, accuracy, and their spells and their cantrips all can just operate on 1 stat. And Charisma is pretty powerful because out of combat, you can convince people literally to just go kill yourself, and they'll do it, okay? But in combat, right, you can use your attacks, your spells. They're dependent on this 1 stat, and it's very unique because of the way Warlocks are, and some other really unique stuff too. They can be full-on martial fighters by level 5 if you take Pact of the Blade, even without Hexblade, right? But full casters because, well, let's get into that. Warlock spell slots don't really work with other normal spell slots, and what I'm talking about, of course, here is at the bottom, these level 5 Warlock spell slots. It says right here that they come back on short rest, right? So there's some caveats here. Let's get into this. They refresh on short rest, obviously, so that's actually a pretty cool thing if you've never been a spellcaster. This might be the right class to try and get used to spellcasting, because you can just blow them and then they come back on short rest. But there's less than you normally get with normal spell slots, right? I'm talking, of course, about the blue ones you can see right here on our Shadow Sorcerer mix here. So look at this. These go away and come back on long rest, right? These short rest ones come back obviously on short rest, and they scale up similar to the way a normal full caster would every single level, but it's dependent on that Warlock level, and it won't mix well with other caster classes, okay? But the good thing is, if there's any spells that upcast, right? For instance, let's say Shadowblade. The new Shadowblade will automatically upcast to that 3rd level spell slot at no messing around in the menu right here. So if my pure Warlock were to, cast this, there's no options to upcast. It's just automatically being casted up to the highest level it can be, okay? So there's some really cool traits to it, but you got to understand the differences. Now, for most Warlock levels, you don't get 3, you actually get 2, okay? But once you're level 11, you do get 3, and they're at the very powerful level of level 5 Warlock slots. And I find that something really amazing about Warlocks, something I advocate. I've made a pure caster gameplay out of Warlock, so I just love this class. All right, I don't want to gush too much glazing, right? Okay, but they do not raise the caster level. So you can see here, back with our Shadow mix with a Shadow Sorcerer and a 6 Warlock Hexblade, right? I'm still not getting to level 6 spell slots normally. So these don't mix normally with each other like other caster classes. Let's say I mix 6 Sorcerer with 6 Cleric, I would actually get to the highest level spell slots, level 6, okay? So that's all I mean by that. So you got to be careful when you're multi-classing. It's not that you can't mix it like this. There's some caveats to it, and there's even a Wiz-lock trick I want to go over that's really important, all right? But later, we'll save it for later. So just the Eldritch Blast class, no, that's not true in the slightest. It only takes 2 levels to get Eldritch Blast, and while I can get really nerdy about optimizing Eldritch Blast, okay, I'm not here to talk about that. I will just say the reason I love this class, and I love Eldritch Blast, trust me, but it really only takes 2 levels to get Eldritch Blast, and you're really not going to get a sense of how powerful Warlock is if you always just go into it thinking, I'll just take 2 levels for Eldritch Blast. Great. Play one of the strongest things in the game. Eldritch Blast is really cool, but you're really missing out on essentially what this is this is your bow for a character, right? And you're missing out on a great class if all you ever want to do is just Eldritch Blast. Now, the reason I say essentially a bow is if you don't go all in on this and multi-class trying to make it as strong as possible, but say you made a level 12 Warlock, right? The more you go into a Warlock, the more you get its kit and understand how powerful it is as a class, and you use your weapon, you use your spells, and you use your Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast becomes a very reliable attack in and of itself, yes, but it feels more like a magical bow, because it also goes off of an attack and a damage roll, and rather than binding some kind of bow with a pact weapon, right, you just have this reliable cantrip, which can arguably be seen as a ranged bow attack. It's just using force damage. It's using attack rolls just like a bow. It's doing damage just like a bow. It works a little differently, so it's just a bit of an analogy there, okay? But I'll stop focusing on that. They also get invocations. You could think of these as similar to feats. They're Warlock exclusive feats, so to speak. They come around at different Warlock level intervals, right? And you get to pick 2 initially at level 2, and then you get to pick them 1 at a time at certain intervals. But they can be powerful effects, like adding the ability to cast slow is not normally in your spell list, so you'll have to take an invocation. Same thing with Conjure Elemental, which is actually really powerful. So these will use your Warlock spell slots. But more importantly, there's some really great stuff in here like Devil Sight that lets you see basically superior dark vision, but also see through the darkness spell, right? And that's a powerful combo in and of itself, as well as the very popular Agonizing Blast, wherever the heck it may be. Agonizing Blast essentially turns your Eldritch Blast into that bow analogy, where now you're also adding your charisma, not just to attack bonus, but damage bonus, just like Dex would affect your attack and damage of a bow, okay? So very popular invocations, but yeah, mess around with these. You'll see how powerful the class can be if you know how to use these correctly, right? Enable more spell options like, like I said, the Elemental and whatnot. But yeah, let's move on to pack choices, and this is pretty relevant to what we're about to talk today. Level 3, you get choices between what pact you want to. It's funny how Warlock kind of has different subclasses, and then almost like 3 more subclasses at level 3. kind of. But a big one we're going to talk about today is at level 3 you can take Pact of the Blade as opposed to the other two options, right? And Pact of the Blade at level 5 will upgrade to allowing you to extra attack with your Pact weapon. And what is a Pact weapon? Well, normally for other Warlock subclasses, not Hexblade, you can bind a weapon and now make it into a weapon that uses charisma and becomes magical damage, right? So you can see here my weapon now uses charisma as its attack value, and it has damage coming from charisma as well. So it's 100% instead of dex or strength. I now use charisma even for my weapon, and at level 5 it'll enhance to give me the typical extra attack, just like fighter or paladin would have, right? So blade is needed. Pact of the Blade is needed to get the extra attack, even for Hexblade, like I was saying earlier, but it just seems that way. I might have it wrong. Don't want to give out too much wrong information, okay? Now, new Shadow Blade. We'll just go over this briefly. We talked about this a lot in a whole dedicated video. This is now a spell. Warlocks also get it at level 3, like Sorcerer and Wizard. It's very powerful. It can upcast, and as a Warlock, it will always upcast to your highest Warlock level spell slot, right? It's strong. It lasts for all day, as long as you don't die. It'll be upcasted automatically on a Warlock. There's no concentration, unlike the version that comes from a ring, and you can get it at level 3, which is really early, and I've already played through Honor Mode with it. It's awesome, okay? And you can Pact Weapon it, so it can now be used with Charisma, so I'll show you a build with that later. Now, you also get the new Booming Blade. It's a cantrip. It's a blade cantrip, we call it. So Booming Blade uses your regular attack roll. You don't need to worry about your spell modifier as long as you can land your attack, but it's kind of funny because on a Warlock, you will be using your spell modifier for your weapon attacks, right? So it's very powerful, but you can get it at level 1 as a Warlock. It's super strong, but it's currently been, let's say, nerfed, because it used to be that you can attack as many times as you can swing your weapon. Okay, some debate that it wants to be once per action, but currently what it'll do is only work once per turn, but you'll still get your extra attack, normal attack, okay? Now subclasses, obviously, if you go Hexblade, you will be giving up the other 3 subclasses. That's for, I've covered them a little bit in previous videos, but for today, let's get into the Hexblade. So Hexblade, at level 1, you're gonna get what's called Hex Warrior. I'll break it down for you right here. This feature, what it does for you is give you medium armor, shields, and all martial weapons. So even if you're not binding your weapon, you can now use these. You're now officially like basically a fighter, right? For the most part. You're a martial fighter, you get armor, you get shields, and you have martial weapons. So that's pretty good. When 1 feat, you could actually get up to heavy armor. Since you're just dependent on charisma, that's actually a good feat choice if you want to go that way and use heavy armor by level 4. Okay? So that's all Hex Warrior is doing. Then you get the ability to pact your weapon at level 1. So you can obviously think how powerful of a multi-class choice this is for charisma characters. Okay, and I mean any class, not just the charisma classes. So if you have a high charisma stat and you want to use it for your weapon, go level 1 in Hexblade, because now you get pact weapon at level 1, but out of combat, you can't use it in combat. Make sure you're setting it up at the beginning of your day. It does take an action, but it shouldn't matter if you're out of combat. So weapon now uses charisma, like we talked about, just like I said, Pact of the Blade does at level 3. But it adds this random application of the Hexblade Curse upon hitting a target, and you'll see that in a moment, okay? So Hexblade Curse, what it does is you can actually manually activate this. I'll highlight it in the game right here. What it does is it's a bonus action you can manually apply once per short rest, okay? Or it could just happen naturally while you're swinging your packed weapon, okay? But the condition will be placed on your enemy target or whoever you're hitting, and it'll last for 10 turns, and they'll take additional damage when you swing from then forward by your packed weapon, right? They'll take proficiency extra damage. So at level 12, you can see that it says they take my proficiency bonus. This would be 4 more damage at level 12, right? Well, by level 9 actually, but okay. So the number to crit is also decreased down to 19, and this can stack with other critically hitting effects. So crit builds would love this too, right? Mix it up with a berserker maybe. So help heal HP. So once you kill somebody with this as the Warlock, they'll actually get a little bit of healing based on your charisma amount plus your Warlock level added up to extra HP on recovery from killing them, okay? And then, of course, with a new subclass comes new spells in the spell list. You get actually Shield and Wrathful Smite, Wrathful is not upcastable, just keep that in mind, guys. But also, Shield is a very nice reaction, keeps you alive. So again, this doesn't really have any upcast ability, so keep that in mind if you're going to use these more powerful slots. You're really using a level 1 spell slot, okay? Just wanted to mention that, but very good spells, especially for multi-classing. So level 3 spell list, you get Blur and Branding Smite. That's pretty good too, okay? Level 5, extra attack. So like I said, apparently you actually do need Pact of the Blade chosen at level 3. Please keep this in mind. Perhaps it is a bug. I actually, like I said, would prefer that it is a bug and you can just get naturally extra attack, just like fighters can, just like paladins can. But we'll see what the way it's determined. Oh my god, it's just been a nightmare kind of testing, if I could just say so myself. But I'm glad I found out a way to make it work for you guys and show it off. Okay, so spell list, Blink and Elemental Weapon is now added. So Elemental Weapon right here, pretty cool. You do get options just because this one is a unique one. I took it to show you. And this does actually upcast at level 5. So keep in mind you do get even more damage if you want to go with this on your Warlock, but it is a concentration spell. Okay, so level 6, the Accursed Spectre. Accursed Spectre, we saw that at the beginning of the video. What I'll do is I'll go over these notes real quick. It's a reaction. When your target dies while they have the curse, the 10-turn curse, they will you can raise them on reaction as an undead spirit. So maybe don't use your shield reaction or something else, right? It depends on the size of the target, and really we need a whole video to go over this, but it doesn't work on constructs, elementals, oozes, and plants, and it's not permanent. It seems to last for about 10 turns from my testing, and it attacks the targets that you attack when you curse them, okay? So it needs honestly a whole video. For now, I have a little clip showing you that. We saw it a little bit earlier, but I'll just go over it here. So we actually can go over all the features that you get on this Hexblade real quick. You'll see here that I've cursed somebody with the Hexblade in more detail. So now you know what it's doing, what's going on with it, right? So I attacked this guy randomly. It just applied. People are saying 20%, but I don't know, so I won't tell you what it was. Speculation otherwise. It just happens at random, right? So as long as you're using your pact weapon, you will pretty much get it. And you can see here, I can use the next ability we're about to talk about, okay? The Armor of Hexes. So this is a level 10 feature we'll go over in just a moment, but it's also a reaction ability that you can use against targets you've cursed. So obviously you can tell this Hexblade curse that you get at level 1 will have a lot of usage throughout the leveling up the subclass, or multi-classing it or whatnot, right? So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and hit him real hard. Oh, never mind. Guess not. Or skip ahead or whatnot. Okay, now I'm going to knock him out. Alright, so we attack him, we get him. Okay, just can't hit. It's hard-coded to miss. Okay, there we go. So, I'm going to finish him off right here. Now we still can't hit. So now I'm going to poke him. I guess I'm just hard-coded to miss. Alright, so yeah, like I said, he's killed. So he has a curse on him. So what's going to happen is I get a reaction choice, and I'll get this awesome undead specter, and based on the size of a target, Cuthbert is a medium size, so I get a medium sized specter. Like I said, we'll go into it in more detail, but this guy will now help you and assist you, but you cannot control him. He has some pretty unique stats that we'll cover in another video. He has a little bit of initiative, but the main point is, as you keep attacking with your weapon, not only do you get this cursed undead at level 6, but he'll start attacking opponents with you uncontrollably, just kind of following your lead, and that's really cool. Okay, so I'll save that for another video, but level 7 spell list, you get Phantasmal Killer, you get Staggering Smite. Now, we'll pause on Staggering Smite. This is a pretty powerful level 4 spell. Again, does not really upcast, wouldn't anyway, with your spell slots, but it is psychic damage, which can be doubled. You can think of this as, damage-wise, a straight upgrade from Wrathful Smite, okay? And it does have a pretty powerful attack, staggering opponents, okay? So just keep that in mind. That's a nice unique one that paladins cannot reach because it's a level 4 smite ability, at least in Baldur's Gate 3. You do get Dominate Beast, you do get Greater Invisibility. Moving on, at level 9, you get some Banishing Smite and Cone of Cold. Now, Banishing Smite is unique because it can actually be used at range, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. And Banishing Smite is very powerful at 5d10, and you get 3 of these per short rest as a level 11 Warlock. So I do want to highlight that's pretty powerful, but it also banishes them, which is a very crazy control spell if you get the banish off. and you want to kind of like control the battlefield, you do massive damage while striking them, and then they possibly disappear for 2 turns. So just wanted to highlight that one too. And then you saw the Armor of Hexes reaction at level 10. So once again, more utility coming from the Hexblade condition. So you have this reaction here. So if somebody is cursed and they go to attack you, you can use your reaction, and there's a 50-50 chance that they'll just straight up negate the damage. It'll count as a critical miss, so they won't hit you, okay? I'm assuming that's only attacks. I'll have to test this more. Maybe not for spells, though. Okay, so when a creature attacks you and they're cursed, you have a 50% chance on reaction to negate them. You do have to use your reaction point, okay? And finally, I want to show this Wiz-lock tech, because I'm not the inventor of this. I'm cheeky about it, but I do love Wiz-lock, and I do love level 1 Wiz-lock. You'll see why, right? So why is he level 11? Because if I go to level 12, I could get Life Drinker, or maybe another Invocation, another feat. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about there, but yeah, you can still do just fine as a pure level 12. I always like to show level 12 builds, but this is one of those changes where I almost always will go a wizard on my warlock, because I really like haste. So if I switch over my last level, more preferably take wizard as your first level for the spell modifier, but I digress. Okay, we'll take any spell, who cares? Okay, that does not matter. What matters is now that I'm even just 1 level of a wizard, any wizard spell that I use on a warlock can be used with my level 5 spell slots and be automatically upgraded, or anything under that spell level can be used. Well, here's a little trick for you. So we call this the Wiz-lock, right? You take 1 level as a wizard, you use a cultivation elixir. In this case, we want to use a level 3 or higher elixir. This is going to be giving me a normal level 3 spell slot, which for some reason I can't do this with just my warlock spell slots, so you'll have to do it this way. But this is a really cool, unique interaction where now that you have the proper level 3 normal spell slot, you can come here and you can learn very powerful spells like Animate Dead or even Haste. You can now be a proper necromancer because you can upgrade your Animate Dead, but more importantly, for my purposes, I like attacking with my weapon. I like Eldritch Blasting. So now as a warlock, without going Pact of the Tome, I now have 3 haste every short rest. This is extremely powerful, long-lasting, very consistent, okay? So, there we go. Put that up there. And even though I have 8 intelligence and only 1 wizard spell slot, I can just equip the 1 spell I really want from this class, okay? So that's a very powerful little level 1 dip, okay? And I'll show you why. So you can learn a scroll by putting on the elixir, then you can swap out the elixir and you can profit. Kabam. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll pop a different elixir. I've already gotten what I want. It does not go away. Okay, but the spell slot level 3 will go away, so we'll use level 5 spell slots to cast this. Now check this out. I'll go ahead, I make sure I have my pact weapon set up. I'm going to use the Harmonic Dueler because this thing is ridiculous. And now I'm going to go into haste. Alright. And watch how crazy Booming Blade is. Yeah, pretty crazy. Oh yeah, look, I even paid him off. Good job. Also, I'm going to attack you again. I told you I had a pinch nerve. And you have to suffer for it. Goodbye. There we go. Curse Spectre. Alright. So of course now it's some build time, isn't it? We've gotten right into it. So I just wanted to show you that little multi-class dip. Normally I show you the pure level 12, but I really think Warlock fans are going to love this. Alright, so by the way, I could go all day for this. I know this video is already long. I'm very impassioned about my favorite class and probably my new favorite subclass, but check it out. I could show you a ton of examples. It's build time. Ready? So we're just going to go over highlights of what I think these builds can do, show you some ideas, what you could do playing around with multi-classing or even a pure Warlock. So let's say I was level 12, maybe, you know, level 11 with 1 wizard, fine, whatever. But Actor wins fights out of combat. What I'm talking about here is if you take Actor, you get Deception and Performance Expertise, and you get 1 Charisma. So you could start out at 17 Charisma, go up to 18 Charisma, and you can just tell people to literally deceive them and tell them to kill themselves. Pretty powerful. But also your Charisma went up. So in combat, Performance Expertise, well, check it out. The Harmonic Dueler is quite the powerful weapon. You get 10 turns if you can pass a performance check which you will with high charisma and performance expertise. And the Harmonic Dueler is about to become one of your new favorite weapons because the Potent Robes, Rhapsody, Synergy Ring, and Booming Blade hits big. I'm telling you, real big. I don't even have my spell modifier correctly, right? Your Eldritch Blast is also stupidly strong with that combo. If we bring somebody down here, I can kill them at range. I can kill them with the Spectre. I can do a whole bunch of cool stuff with this setup. Again, you could do this all with just a level 12 Hexblade. You're not even wearing any armor or shield or whatnot, which is even funnier. Okay? So, go ahead, hit me. Oh wait, shield. So of course you can use your Warlock slots for shield or reaction attacks, like Hellish Rebuke. But you're overall just a magical Spellblade kind of fighter, okay? And again, you don't compromise on the very powerful Agonizing Blast, Potent Robes combo for Eldritch Blast, but also, even with only one Booming Blade per turn, this thing slaps. Oh man, I missed. Alright, but your normal weapons would also hurt pretty big time too. And of course, like I said, you can Eldritch Blast, you can have your little zombie buddy help you out. So much more. Tons of fun. And if you don't get the Hexblade Curse, you can always manually attack with it like this. And that's 10 turns. So if you have a big boss or like some of these Steel Watchers, then on short rest, you can always guarantee that you're throwing out Hexblade Curse. Hexblade Curse would give you the bonus damage and crit potential on not only Booming Blade, a weapon attack, but Eldritch Blast, right? Because they're all attack rolls. So Hexblade Curse, stupidly crazy, stupidly good with this setup. I've already played this character even before Hexblade came out, so I already know it's disgusting in honor mode. Alright. Yeah, let's go, buddy. Try and hit me. You have the Armor of Hexes, which can fully negate attacks. Okay? And like I said, let's just see how hard I can hit this guy. Oh my goodness. And then my Cursed Spectre can kill him. And apparently there's a bug where like Cursed Spectres can keep popping out. I think they fixed that because now I'm only getting it from like other Hexblades. But alright, I've gone on enough about it. So like I said, this is a massive combo. If you do take the extra feat at level 12 Hexblade, be sure to get Rhapsody. It's the offhand dagger. Let me show it to you, wherever it may be. I think I have it. It's hiding from me. Alright, there is a dagger, I talk about it all the time, but it combos extremely well with Harmonic Dueler and the Potent Robes, all of that making Booming Blade the best it can be. So, if you like Booming Blade and you like Eldritch Blast, this is the Hexblade for you. Now, no armor, no problem, especially once you're hasted. If you go that route, you would have 20 armor class, right? Not giving up strong Eldritch Blast, that's a big one for me. I love having 3 level 5 spell slots that come back on short rest, alright? And 1 level 6 spell slot, so you can get something as powerful as Eye Bite per long rest. Life Drinker at level 12 if you go all the way in, but I prefer my level 1 haste from Wizard, so some really cool stuff you could do there. Alright, let's show another cool build idea. Let me go ahead and back this up. So the Witchblade, aka the Sex Blade. Yeah, everybody's gonna call it that. It's the Witchblade, guys. It was inspired by the show and the anime and whatnot. Calm down. Alright, so the Goon Blade. Alright, theme inspired the mechanics actually. I started with, hey, can I do like a Witchblade now that I have the Hexblade? I really like that. That was like one of the first ideas I had for it. Plus, I kind of wanted to do a Barbarian Warlock. So I thought this actually worked out pretty well. I've actually played this on my own time. I love this thing. So the theme was that obviously the Hexblade show or whatnot, but you have a cursed sword, right? So I wanted to go with that into Berserker and see if the subclasses mixed together, right? Mechanically, it was inspired by the theme, but then once I got the mechanics and the multi-class right, I figured out how I would level this up, and I did, and I really like this. You start out as a rogue, you know, a scoundrel that's basically looking, and you kind of steal a magical sword by destiny. It's cursed, so you become a bit of a warlock, Hexblade, right? And then once you've unlocked its powers, it starts kind of taking control. You start going berserk, and you get the thief. You can take this earlier or later, but you know, you obviously have stolen a magical weapon, so you're literally a thief. But yeah, mechanically what's going on here is the Berserker gives you some theming. You're literally berserking from the power of the sword. Reckless attack obviously helps with the huge accuracy loss of great weapon. You have massive resistance to weapon damage when you go berserk, and then you have the bonus action attack right here. So as many bonus actions as you have more weapon attacks, which is really dangerous and powerful with the abilities I'm about to show you. But Thief gives you another bonus action for another attack. Expertise is actually very valuable. You can literally steal things. You are a thief. Okay, you can sneak around, and you also have intimidation expertise, because it'll be pretty scary wielding that, you know, dangerous cursed blade. But more utility is also really great. I can't stress enough why I love Rogue, because of the extra utility. And yeah, the story. So you stole the blade and kind of took over. So Hexblade specifically does matter on a mechanical level too. The Hexblade curse is the best option for this kind of multi-classing, because the Hexblade curse can be used while raging, and it's thematically appropriate. It can be used during rage, and it's just really freaking powerful. You'll see. So honor mode attacks, this is going to be a little differently, because we're on Tactician. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. But you can get 2 attacks normally in honor mode. Your normal attack and then attack again from Pact weapon at level 5. Then you go into rage. Because you have 2 bonus actions, you can attack 2 more times, so you're already up to 4 attacks. Even if you weren't enraged, if you crit or kill, thanks to Hexblade curse, even, right, you can actually get more bonus attacks thanks to Great Weapon Master attacks, right? And then finally there's Bloodlust. I would use this with Bloodlust because it's just thematic. It gives you more attacks, so we're up to kind of 5 attacks while you're enraged, right? Still has solid range damage when not enraged, because you do have Eldritch Blast as a bow, like I said. And so when you rage, you can still use the Blade Curse right here manually. You'll also curse them as you attack them, and you do have Hellish Rebuke while you're in your rage form. You can actually use this, so you can actually use your 2 level slots here if you want to. And I think Falar Alluve really fits this, so let's see if I can get this demonstrated a little bit. We'll save it right here. So if I Falar Alluve Shriek, right, I'll pause it. I'll curse this guy. Oh, actually, I'll just go into combat with him. Hey, yeah, reckless attack. So even though I have terrible accuracy, I could use oils to fix that. I do have a lot of bonus actions, but of course I want to enrage. The blade takes over. Alright, so you can't Booming Blade, you can't cast Eldritch Blast anymore, but you can cast your Hexblade Curse. I think he's already cursed, and we can use our bonus action for hits with Reckless Attack. We could possibly hit him. If he hits us, we could Hellish Rebuke, and so on and so forth, right? Oof, I can Hellish Rebuke. So you can kind of cast while you're in, you know, rage. I think that's cool as heck. Alright, so of course you can cast this while in rage too. So if you want to get your Hexblade Curse off a big boss guy, right? And then you still have a bonus action to attack with that. Reckless Attack, didn't even need it. Look at the massive freaking damage. I love this. And if you kill somebody like this, you do get your Bloodlust attack. And, you know, maybe you have another Hexblade with you. Turn him into a zombie. So, I love this build back when I was using it on mods to make it happen. But now that's officially something you can do in the game, I think a lot of people might want to play this multi-class. But yeah, that's just one of my ideas. Just saying. Alright. So the last one is a request. I want to see Hexblade and Shadow. It wasn't just one, it was like 10 people wanted to see this. So Shadow 6, the new Shadow Sorcerer with the new Hexblade Warlock, right? So we have the doggo and we have the bone guys popping out from dead bodies. You have all your new friends and companions, and you're just loving it, right? So let's go ahead. Let's look at this multi-class idea. Nope, that's the wrong one. All right. So now we have the Shadow Sorcerer. So you actually can see in the darkness 2 different ways. You can use Eyes of the Darkness from Shadow Sorcerer, but I just took the more convenient, what is it? Devil Sight. So I can see in the darkness regardless if I cast that or the normal version of it. And that's very powerful because if you can see in your own darkness, well, it's very abusable, right? So we can zap people. They can't do nothing about it. Since Eldritch Blast levels up with your character, not your Warlock, once you're level 10 character, this thing is still powerful. Obviously, you're going to use the new Shadow Blade. It's going to upgrade with those level 3 spell slots. You have both short rest spell slots and normal long rest spell slots. You can curse while you're doing this, right? And you have a new little dog companion who can come up and be like, da, 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 and bite your little friend here. Hey, what's up? But I don't think there's any special interaction. Look, now I can split the dog and get a lot of dogs out and get a lot of zombies out. We're having tons of fun here. And we can also quicken spell and get a Booming Blade or an Eldritch Blast using that. So that's actually a really powerful combo too. Uh-oh, everybody's now gonna come over here. So yeah, while this is, you know, battling on here, we have basically run into the darkness. Keep my dog safe. You leave my dog alone. Okay, so yeah, you can cast darkness with sorcery points or regular, you know, warlock slots. You can have shield, obviously, on reaction. You do have devil sight, so you can see in darkness no matter what. And shadow blade in dark is actually advantage, so that's really powerful. And you can hex weapon it, which is also really awesome. So your shadow blade can use your charisma and still just be a 1-stat guy. All right. You also learn haste as well, just like a sorcerer or a wizard could, but you'll have to get to level 5 sorcerer to do that. Okay. And you have meta magic, so like I said, you can attack with your weapons, and then you can use sorcery points to blast Eldritch Blast with your bonus action, right? So I can go Eldritch Blast right now. Pew pew pew. And then with my weapon attacks, I can actually attack twice with a Booming Blade, and then with a normal attack. And because I'm using Shadow Blade with advantage, it's crazy damage, right? So I have even more attacks right there. So yeah, this is a really cool multi-class too, and there's no wonder people wanted to request it, so I get that. So I'm gonna leave you at that. Wait, there's more ideas. So I don't, again, I'm limited here. I want to show you, I love this freaking class. I love this subclass. I have tons of cool ideas. It's not my most original idea, and other people had the idea too. Go figure. Great minds think alike. The Cursed Pirate. Take a swashbuckler with 1 or 2 Hexblade. You get a charisma weapon. You get Devil Sight. You get Eldritch Blast. It's like being a Cursed Pirate from Davy Jones kind of inspired character. Awesome idea. What about a Celestial Blade? Mix it with the Star Druid. Have those star forms at level 2 Druid. You can have level 1 Charisma Blade, right? You can do something really cool with that. The forms can help with concentration builds, or just give you a cool bonus attack. So you can be like Eldritch Blasting with that, and then have the little like luminous arrow. So that's pretty cool. It's a cool theme idea. I want to try something like that myself. So Lore Bard, you could use maybe, I know you might be thinking like, why not Swords Bard, Valor Bard? The idea here is you can be a full caster of sorts. You take the level 1 for the Hexblade, right, and use it in your offhand, right? And then you can use it as a bonus action to get an attack weapon in, maybe curse them, and then your spell attacks might do more damage from the Cursed Blade curse, but you always have a card to play with your bonus action to attack while you cast with your main actions, right? So you hold spells with maybe an action to set up a crit with your offhand bonus action attack, or just, you know, use cutting words to maybe enable that to happen or land the hit anyway. You could use a dual wield set. I try to show people dual wielding is actually a way for casters to be kind of like a fighter and a caster at the same time, but there's other ways you can play this concept too. So you also can level up 1 Wiz-lock, right? And this would enable you to go into more of a necromancer. So again, if I were to learn, where is it on my wizard? Okay, I don't have it here, but if I use that 1 wizard example from earlier, if you learn Animate Scroll Dead, the key to having a really good Animate Dead is higher spell slots. So at level 5, you would actually have 3 zombies, 3 skeleton archers, or 1 ghoul, flying ghoul. So this actually makes you pretty much a warlock necromancer if you really wanted to play something unique like that, because you do get your extra attack with Pact of the Weapon, or Pact of the Chain could give you your little, you know, demon guy, or Pact of the Tome, whatnot. Whatever you want to do, Wiz-lock can really enable some pretty unique things. So just try that out. Obvious Oathbreaker. So there's a lock combo with Oathbreaker where you can get even more charisma power on your weapon. Oathbreaker level 7 gives you an aura that adds more charisma damage to your weapon. Okay. Blade Curse can make a 10 Evoker Wizard, plus the 2 Hexblade, giving you the curse. It's insanely strong Missiler and an insanely strong Eldritch Blaster. Level 10 Evoker can give you your intelligence modifier added to the bonus damage here, and then it'll add it to also Magic Missile. So whether you're using Magic Missile or Eldritch Blast, you'll get 4 more damage at level 12 on your proficiency bonus per hit. That's pretty wild, okay? Crazy multi-classing ideas here, okay? And an Eldritch Archer, you're like, what's the point? Don't you have Eldritch Blast? Okay, just hear me out. You can Branding and Banishing Smite with the new Hexblade, right? So Banishing Smite on a ranged attack with a 5d10, honestly, it'd be something really cool to play, almost a pure Eldritch Blast Archer, not Eldritch Blast, but an Eldritch Archer, because at level 11, you'd have 3 of these freaking big guns right here. You can't make your bow use Charisma, but then again, you don't really care about the spell effect here so much as the big hit nuke damage. So you just need to have good dexterity, and you can blow them up with Branding Smite. At level 11, you get 3 of these per short rest. That's not nothing, and it'd just be something really unique. No charisma, no charisma, no problem. Just use a dexterity build as a Warlock. It works. It's just the fun stuff I like to play around with. So how do you play and level these up? Well, man, it's about time I played this. I'm going to be playing a pure Hexblade, probably this set right here with the Harmonic Dueler as its goal, but I play these on honor mode. I'm currently testing patch 8 stress test, playing through, seeing if I can find issues like the packed weapon problems in honor mode, and just generally report stuff. But I play it on live stream because even if it wasn't testing the patch, I like to play this game. I like to play it on honor mode. I like to see you play it on honor mode, so I try to play it with all these cool builds. It's highly replayable in my opinion. It's most satisfying on this mode, and I try to inspire you and answer your questions, or you actually inspire me. So thank you guys. Again, big thank you to all the feedback lately. I'm sorry I'm a little, you know, banged up right now, but thank you so much. If you got a lot out of this video, that's the best support. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you're hyped about the new subclasses, and I hope they can get the patch out. So thank you for watching, because you guys are my sponsors. You want to support it more? I've made memberships as low as possible on YouTube, and so that means a lot to me. But thanks for watching anyway, and until the next one, you have a blessed day.